This is coming from you out of all people. You're giving like dating advice? What?
Weird. What do you mean?
Like she has like I've seen her like it's the worst. No.
What?
You weren't. She's telling people to play it cool. Like she gets one text from a guy and she's texting all her friends, me, Baya. It's like.
Hello, namaste. Zarna Garg here with the Zarna Garg Family Podcast. So excited to have all three Gargs in the house. Only three Gargs. One, my son, who's in college, is working. So we're going to let him work. And my daughter was supposed to be here, but she's always late. Always late.
Not always.
So
often
she's
late,
always late. And today we decided, even though she's about to log in, that she's so late that we're going to go on and shoot this episode without her. And we're going to do an episode about what happens when a family member is late. Because there's one person in every family member that is holding people up, and we're going to get right into it because I can't take it anymore. I have 15 things to do, and yet I somehow show up on time. So let's get into this very heated
But
episode.
to be fair, you and I have had like an obsession to be on time.
Yeah, and that's a bad thing. First of all, let me get right into it. You are here in the room with my littlest one, who is a middle schooler, and my husband of 27 years, now 26 years, Shalab Garg, Wall Street veteran. My husband and I, Shalab, are very, very punctual people. We plan things around in ways that we can actually show up and be a part of something. Our one son, Veer, is very, very punctual. Bridge is kind of on the edge, but is usually on time. Zoya, always running late. And then also always making it seem like it's all our fault for wanting her to be there on time. Who in this world has a family member like that? And let's get right into it. And today, even though she was about to log in...
There she is.
Okay. Never mind. She is logged in now. And
Hi.
I'm not gonna... Who wants to speak?
I mean, basically, she's like a 22-year-old.
Mom was basically just... Mom was flaming you for being late, basically. And
Mom was not flaming you. Stop saying that, Veer. Mom was not flaming you. Mom was reminding everybody on what the agreement was and what the plan was. Mom has 10 other responsibilities, but still she shows up on time on the road with a mobile head. Like, I literally live out of a suitcase. But yet, when I'm supposed to be somewhere, I am there. So, no, somebody got flamed, but it wasn't Mom doing the flaming.
Okay, if I can explain my piece without actually this entire podcast freaking out, I am enrolled in a mechanical engineering class for the very first time in my Stanford career. It is kind of for my computer science degree and also for my classics degree. It's essentially this class called Building Heaven and Hell. As a midterm and final project asks you to become certified at like laser printing, 3D printing, using all the different machinery and equipment. And because I'm modeling something I'm modeling this dragon with 7 heads on my computer, it broke my computer. So when I was trying to join the podcast, my computer was crashing because I downloaded this new software onto it. Now, when I was trying to explain this, was Mom crashing out? Yes. Was I
Shalab, did you understand any of this? Because
all I heard was blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. I'm late.
No, and apparently because I'm not at Stanford doing 3D whatever lollipop printing, and my work is not important, and my time is worth nothing.
When somebody plans for something, they should plan for the unexpected, which is always likely to occur. If we were in the Goodfellas, you would be flogged. If this was Goodfellas, the Italian mafia, they would flog you for being late.
Okay, I don't know about that. Oh, God.
All I'm saying is that Mom, if like a fire erupted on stage and the stage was on fire, they wouldn't expect Mom to be on time for her show.
But Zoya,
except she would get the fire protection 10 times over 3 days in advance. Anticipating the potential.
You're late, like every episode is something because something's happening at Stanford and something.
Veer loves Didi so much. Veer, do you
Bridge isn't even here. Bridge, okay. Oh. Where's Bridge is not even here. He's missed out 3
1 day in
episodes.
advance.
No,
but
Bridge,
he
told us.
No,
you
but
want
Bridge...
me to not show up? The family is the family with 4 Gargs at least. Also, women just need more time. Like, that's just true.
Oh my God, boys. Where is that? Now, gender role.
Okay.
Gender role when it's convenient, no gender role when it's not.
But men cannot.
There you go. That's my son.
Oh my God.
Men cannot be careless. He remembers The Godfather.
Okay. no, for real though. Like, let's talk about the topic of being late. If you're meeting a friend, no,
That is
like
the
let's do an
topic.
episode. That is the topic because you would know if you were here on time.
which she was not. I mean, I am in a business where time is of real essence. Economic data comes out at exact one moment. You have to be there for it. The overall market works from one time to time B. You have to basically respect time. If you do not respect time, there is no business to be in finance. And to be honest, your mother and I have respected time all our lives. Even in fact, on Indian festivities, we would be the first one to arrive, and the host would not even be prepared.
I know,
We were so
actually,
embarrassed.
and they would get mad at us for coming on time.
Yeah, I mean, what's
Like,
the point of putting 6 p.m. on the invitation if the host is not even going to be prepared
Okay,
at
but
6
you
p.m.?
guys take it too far. Like, if somebody is throwing a party, there is a social understanding that you're gonna show up 30 minutes
Can,
late.
can you chat
no,
GPT it? I don't see it on chat GPT.
no, I don't think so. 30 minutes?
Yes, because the host is gonna take its time to warm up the party and get the
So then
food
why
ready.
don't you just state 6:30 as
Be-
the starting time?
Be- because that's just not cool. Like that's not what social
I can
norms
chat
dictate.
GPT it, and I don't expect this to find
What
it.
is with your
ChatGPT is
obsession
not
with
the gospel of
ChatGPT?
truth. It's not the gospel of truth.
I mean, it's chat GPT is actually your mother sent out this thing that it's actually diagnosing diseases.
Oh my god.
It
Mom
is
will
Did you know-
cherry
diagnosing
pick.
diseases.
She will pick any article to support her claims.
I mean, but Zoya, like, so you're telling me that if okay, forget the party. If you're meeting a friend for dinner at 7 p.m., what time do you meet that? What time do you expect that person to be there? How much time do you wait? And at what time do you say, I'm out, I'm not doing this?
Okay, and also on a blind date, Zoya, on two separately. How would you characterize them?
Okay, I would like to formally apologize for being late to this podcast. However,
Oh.
if extenuating
There's
circumstances
always a however.
Okay. Oh,
There's always a
okay.
but. It's not even a real apology.
if extenuating circumstances come into play, i.e., your computer crashes because you downloaded software so you could do an engineering degree that your parents want you to do,
Oh.
or
Your mother doesn't even want you to do a degree. She would
or-
rather none of the kids does a degree.
or you get sick, or like some emergency happens, then it's okay to be late. But the only time I'm actually really afraid to be late is when it's a new person I've never met before.
So blind date.
Not a blind date, but any person, like whether it's like a professional meeting, because it feels like that's your first impression. There's no prior,
So
input.
you can take everyone that you know for granted, but just not a new person for granted.
That's not what I mean. You guys are making me sound like the worst person on earth. Like,
How many minutes in advance were you preparing for this podcast?
I'm
Good,
curious.
good question.
Very good question. Because you and I spoke about it once. What time?
Whatever. Like, when did you start preparing for this podcast is a very relevant question.
How many minutes
okay,
before the episode?
I am in a different time zone than all three of you. So I have
Yeah.
less time than all three of you. I woke up.
What?
How does
Yes.
that-
Because
That
if
doesn't
I
make
Did you
sense.
say anything about engineering, a degree in engineering that I skipped out on?
because you
How did you have less time? Like time moves differently for you just because there's a time difference?
Because when I wake up at 7 a.m., if you guys, for example, wake up at 7 a.m., you have more hours of the day than me, right?
What?
If I wake up at 7 a.m., I have
No,
3
she's
hours.
right. She's right.
I have
She's
She's
right.
3
trying to say
hours.
that 1 p.m. is already
Yes.
half the day.
Yes, you've had an extended amount. If the podcast is at 1 p.m., I'd be there on time every time. But it's never at 1
okay.
p.m.
Oh.
It's always at these crazy times for me. 10 a.m. is like a very hot button time in the California time zone, which you guys wouldn't
On a
know because you
Saturday.
don't live in California. Yes, on a Saturday for ambitious people. So essentially,
Okay.
I woke up.
Oh, I guess. Wow.
I woke
okay.
up and
None of us is ambitious.
Well, are you
obviously.
trying to say that mom's time is not important? That's how it
No,
sounds.
no, stop
Or dad's.
demonizing me. Oh my god, I can't even
Okay,
get
you
a
still
word
haven't
out.
answered the question. You still haven't
Okay,
answered the question.
so I honestly, at 9 a.m. was like, my room is a disaster. And it would be disrespectful to our podcast viewers if my room looked like a disaster. So I spent a full 55 minutes cleaning my whole room. Can we just look? The bed is made, like everything is in its, or look at the books. But then I realized it was 9:55, which means it was 5 minutes before the podcast. So then I was like, okay, now I need to get ready. And I knew what I was going to wear.
Those 5 minutes you were uploading a software?
No. those 5 minutes I was getting ready. So I did my makeup. I'm wearing very minimal makeup, which I like to wear. I did my hair a little bit, and I got ready. Then it was 10 a.m. to tune in. But then, even though I had charged my computer overnight, so charge wasn't a problem, open my computer and my 3D printing software is like crashing the computer. So I have to restart the whole computer, which then takes time, which is i.e. why I was late. You know, it would be really nice to have some empathy in this family, and forgiveness is a virtue.
I'm just glad that I didn't have anything to do and I'm always in the perfect time zone. But bringing it back to how long do you wait for a dinner, like friend to show up? I'm telling you that I now have a 15-minute cutoff. If somebody is more than 15 minutes late, with
Why even 15 minutes?
No, I mean, I get like, okay, you can get a little bit held up and all. I get that. But like if somebody is like making you sit for a half an hour with no explanation and no apology and all of that, that is really not okay.
What if they text and WhatsApp or something?
But text what? Like
That I'm stuck in traffic and...
I mean, I guess if it happens once, there's some grace. And then
Mom, have you ever been late one time in your life?
It has happened, but it's very, very rare. And I'm more upset about it than anybody else because I don't like the stress it puts on me to get around and to make places. Like I try to be very, very meticulous in planning my schedule and calculating enough of a buffer. I don't mind going somewhere early and waiting because I need to go with a peaceful mind and I don't like rushing. I don't like showing up with huffing, puffing energy. Like, I don't like doing that.
Wait,
like, when
have you ever been late to a show?
No, never. No. Because I'm anal. I'm like book myself 2 hours before showtime.
Do you know of any performer that's been...
All the time. All the time. Because comics will get greedy and try to do 5 minutes on this show and 5 minutes on that show and try to do everything. You try to do everything for everybody. You're never going to be in one place 100%.
One other thing I'll add on lateness, which is interesting, is they say that before job interviews, you should never, obviously you should show up really early, but if the interview is an in-person interview, meaning that you'll be in a new environment, they say that you should show up at least an hour before, some version of, like some amount of time before, because your body goes into flight or fright mode, like whenever it's adjusting to a new space it's never been in. So even if you are calm because you're there early, your body and mind have to like prepare itself to be in this new environment because that nervous energy will just accidentally spill. But I think coming too early on a date or a party is lame.
But what if you're the guy and he's early waiting for you? You're not gonna like that?
It's just like, why weren't you busy?
What?
Oh my God.
Why weren't you busy?
Yeah. I mean, out of respect and excitement, the boy shows up half an hour early.
Don't be too excited to see me yet.
What?
That's what she just said. Don't be too excited to see me yet.
I don't know.
But
I mean, boys have no hope. No wonder Bridge is not here.
Be excited at all or don't be excited at all?
Like, play it cool, you know? Like,
this is coming from you out of all people. You're giving like dating advice? What?
Weird. What do you mean?
Like she has like I've seen her like it's the worst. No,
What?
You weren't. She's telling people to play it cool. Like she gets one text from a guy and she's texting all her friends, me, Baya, etc. Like
even though that was an AI, what recently happened, I didn't even think it was real. I thought it was real.
You mean the Shake Shack text?
Oh
You know
my
the Shake
God.
Shack.
Can we talk about Shake Shack Gate, please? Because that was the funniest.
Okay, I mean, this is now a new low because I can't believe I'm literally saying this out loud on the pod. So I am in a class with a guy and he's cute. Essentially, we had gone to this training late at night to like work on our project or whatever. It was like 8:15. So we were texting about it. And I said, "What are you doing tonight?" Because we were talking about like working on the project. And all I said was, "What are you doing tonight?" And he goes, "Might go to Shake Shack with some friends right now." Also, was supposed to call my friend. I forgot to tell you his mom listens to your podcast. Do you want to start working on it tomorrow? And I literally was like, wow, I am actually valued less than a french fry. Is the truth.
So he did not ask you to go to Shake Shack with him.
Not only that, Dad. Not only that. He actively decided after a girl texted him, "What are you working on tonight?" in college, where there was supposedly flirty interaction. He decided to pick a burger and actually not even pick the burger. Like, he was indecisive about it, right? He said might. He
The
didn't even say
cheapest
I'm
burger.
going to Shake Shack right now. He was not even decisive about it. So,
And now you're telling him to play it cool.
no, honestly, yeah, he played it too cool. I don't know.
Why didn't you just outright kick him out? That can I come with you?
What?
Dad,
No,
what? I can't
she
be
can't
like
do that. What? She can't just be like, oh, okay, I'll come with you and the guys.
I see.
Or okay, well, obviously I've gotten a lot of opinions on this text because I've sent it to everybody I know, and now the podcast can also feel free to weigh in on this issue. But with friends could also imply with a girlfriend.
Oh.
By the way, will he see this too? This podcast?
Oh,
And
for sure.
And what will he think of it?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I just hope
he
that
might
our
still be at Shake Shack.
Hopefully that burger was good.
And I hope our podcast community appreciates me putting it on the line. Like, this is maybe the reason I'm single. These guys are like, she's gonna start talking about us on the pod.
Okay, but anyway, the whole lateness etiquette is a real thing. What about on a Zoom? I've been late to a Zoom once and I was mortified.
Yeah, I've seen people be late on Zoom. It just drives me insane because you just don't know whether they forgot or they just, how do you know that they're ultimately coming if they haven't even sent an email?
You know what I disdain this more than being late to the Zoom? When you can't tell if the person is actually in the Zoom. Like, sometimes I will be in Zooms with people and we'll be in a really important meeting and they're like doing 8 other things, but you can't see their hands. You can't really see their eyes. I'm like, are you on this Zoom? Are we in this meeting? Like, I feel like
they're not. They're not. Oh my God. Like, I think having the camera off is so disrespectful. And
Really?
people use it.
Like, I do that sometimes when I have not shaved or I don't want to be seen.
But so what? But people want to see your reactions. Like, nobody cares if you shaved or not. But if your camera is off, I assume the person is texting and WhatsApping and doing other things on the side.
100%.
I just assume
100%.
it. That they're not locked in.
For you and me, what about being late to class or school in general when you were younger?
I was never late to a single class in high
school.
In Stanford, while I was there, we were late to 2 of our classes. out of 3. 3 total. We were late to 2 of them.
I think it's safe to say that you have a time budgeting problem. You really do. And maybe, maybe this is feedback and you're like, okay, I can figure it out because we all had to figure it out. Well, I was never late.
Especially someone who's neither dating nor working, not really doing much.
You don't have to do this, Dad. You didn't have to do that. That was a shot for no reason.
I am doing a lot.
She's working. What do you mean?
I'm working a lot. There's actually not a single minute of my day that's not scheduled, which is the problem. The problem is that I'm just doing too much. And also, I have a problem where when I'm really enjoying something, I don't want to leave that thing to go to the next thing just because it's the scheduled thing. So, like, for example, last night, I was having a lot of fun in the machine engineering room, right? Like, if you've been following my Instagram stories, I've been posting with this laser cutter. It's so much fun. And I was having a blast. Like, I made friends with this Korean friend group that was there also on a Friday night, and it was just great. So we were all, like, doing our work, whatever. And then I realized that I was an hour and a half late to this, like, big party that my friend was throwing for her birthday. And I, of course, wanted to show up. But, like, I don't know. It's like, of course I showed up and of course I apologized and I 3D printed her a really cute gift. So that was awesome. But I just feel like I would have liked to have just stayed there. Like, I feel like the one thing that's really annoying is, like, you can't do what you want if you just have a lot of things to do. Because sometimes, like, you'll just be enjoying something and you want to stay. When you are being creative, there's no creativity strikes when it strikes. And there's no end to it when it happens.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That is true to that. But then you don't make commitments. You just allow yourself the creativity. You cannot book things as backup and be like, but if I find a creative thing that's more fun, then you're out. And this is something we all have to learn. I have committed to things that I've lived to regret constantly. So now what is
the worst thing that you've committed to?
No, because I've been like, okay, I'll meet you for dinner or a group thing or somebody's birthday even. And the truth is that 9 out of 10 times I'm not excited to do those things anyway. not because I don't like the people, but because I'm working on something that is consuming me. The mistake is that I made the backup plan. Now have become very comfortable just making default setting no. I don't want to go anywhere because when I'm free, I like to learn. I like to take a master class. I like to learn something on YouTube. That is what I like to do with my free
Wait, I
time, and I
actually
know
think
that now.
this is a great segue because I think a lot of people in my generation, and I'm curious to know what's happening in Veers, is like a lot of people will just not respond to people because they're like, okay, if I don't
That's rude.
respond,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, but let's talk about it. Like basically ghosting, but like not really just ghosting. Like people will text to want to make social plans, text to invite you to parties, and like even invite you to parties and you'll respond yes, and then you just won't show up or something. So like there is a humongous flake culture. And I wonder, like, as a group, do we think that it's better to like decisively say no and just suck up the pain up front, or flake and then like they realize later?
I hate flakers. Like, I would rather just know upfront no, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it. Like, if you're gonna say yes, and then it's gonna be like a constant back and forth battle with you, like, oh, so you want to go here? No, I don't really feel like it. You want to go here? Like, no, it's too far. Like, I don't, just at that point just say no and just let me like be on to the next thing.
Yeah, I agree. I would rather just say no, and I would rather people just say no to me so I can make an accurate plan. And honestly, you know what it is? You can say no and then you've closed that door. And if for some reason the last minute that moment opens up and you're like, I wish I had gone, you always have the option of asking the person, if you still have space, I can stop by. And be open to the idea that they don't have space. But saying yes, keeping the space, and canceling, I think is a very bad idea.
Well,
and I've been guilty of it, and I've had to learn to not do it ever again.
What I've done, like, that's been really helpful is obviously everyone knows that the book launch is happening at the end of April. And I'm really, really busy until then because I have to finish like at least 3.5 weeks worth of schoolwork in advance of this book launch so that when I'm in New York, I can focus. And so I told everybody I have no ability to make social plans until May. And everybody was making fun of me. Like, so many people have been texting me, like, is there any way I can book a slot with you in May? Like, my friends, like, being like, are there slots available in May? Like, making fun of me. But, like, they're being sweet. But honestly, it's the freest I've ever felt.
Excuse me.
It's the freest I've ever felt because I don't feel tied down. I actually wish that it was more socially acceptable to not like schedule social.
How many class hours do you have at in this last trimester of yours every day?
Many hours, Dad. I'm double majoring in an engineering degree and an extremely hard humanities degree. And I have a campus job, and I like am trying to stay healthy and alive, and I'm working full time. So with a crazy boss.
I think she means you.
The craziest boss.
Did I just catch a stray? What?
No. What does that mean, catch a stray?
Oh my God. I think I just got a shot fired at me for what? I've been the most understanding boss here. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody is upset with me constantly.
I'm not upset with you. It's just that, usually in a job, like, there'll be, like, a set time where you go on the Zoom, and it's like, no, like, I'll just get a call, and she'll be like, we need to strategize this right now. It's like, yes.
Yes, because creativity strikes when it strikes. Hello. Who said that just a few minutes ago?
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm honestly mostly joking. I hope everybody on the podcast listening that knows that I'm mostly joking this podcast.
I also hate when people are always on you about why your reason is for not going. Like, if I say that I don't want to go, like, I don't want them to be asking why. I don't want to have to come up with 3 excuses. Like, I don't want to go. I'm not in the mood to go right now.
Well, because the reason why people pressure is because they feel rejected. And they don't understand what could possibly be more interesting. A lot of people can't, like, I do think our family uniquely loves to just be curious and work and be by ourselves, right?
Yes.
And so
we're definitely not the family that's waiting to be invited to anything. We hate invites. None of us want to be invited. No matter what, no matter how prestigious, no matter how cool, we're so happy to be home and working. That is our number one fun thing we do, is stay together, stay in and work.
And if I'm not working, I want to be resting.
you have your own business and stuff. If you had an interview for an employee and they showed up late, what would you do?
I would probably never hire them.
Yeah. No.
Because if like such a basic thing,
Yeah.
like such a basic thing you can't even respect, then I don't know how you will manage other responsibilities.
What if it's only 5 or 10 minutes late?
No.
It's not a question of 5 or 10 minutes. It's just a question of being late. I would never schedule an interview at 7 a.m. in the morning. Most likely the interview is 11 a.m., 12 a.m., or 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. What possible reason can there be?
And if they show up early, would you have a higher chance of hiring them?
No, that's sort of a requirement. I'm not saying that guarantees you anything, but at least then I would be neutral to start the interview.
The thing is that if somebody is late to an interview, that's kind of giving you a glimpse into how they're operating. And they're not detail oriented. They're not able to stick to us. There's so many things you learn from that person becomes an automatic no.
Yeah. And like the excuses of Uber was traffic and this and that. Like the problem is that if you're a grown professional, doesn't matter the age, in New York, let's say, you obviously know these things in advance, right? Like there is no way that at 1 p.m., if you're coming from the Upper East Side to downtown or Midtown, that there's not going to be traffic. So you obviously plan ahead to make sure that you either take the subway or walk or do something so that they don't run into that issue.
Yeah. And you know what else? Actually, speaking of that, when somebody is late to an interview, the number one thing that they're telling the interviewer is that this job is not very important to them. Because you will show up early to things that are important to you. That's just like if you're excited about a movie, you will be there on time or early. Yeah. If you're excited about a trip, you will pack up. When somebody is like coming late, that's already the first sign that this person is dragging their feet. They don't really want to be there.
Now, interviewers are often late. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But the interviewee, the person who is looking for the money and the job.
Yeah.
It's not like they're doing a favor, right? They are the ones asking for something, not the person giving out the job.
But how about you guys? What is the etiquette like with your friends?
People my age respond poorly to every form of making plans. Sometimes I feel like I say yes, and it's like, oh my God, now we have to come up with a plan. I'm like, oh my God, why did I even say yes? What is going on here? Like, are we all just exhausted? Like, what's happening? So I don't know. I think making social plans and then also being on time, super important, super confusing. I'm definitely learning how to do it. I think I'm overscheduled right now, and I hope that it'll be easier for me as a full-time adult.
I feel like in social plans now, if the plan is at 10, I feel like the norm is to be there around 10:10, 10:15. Because I think that everybody's expecting one or two hiccups, and then you're just late, and it's just mutual. And I think it's kind of crazy, but I guess that's just how it is now.
I mean, I'll tell you that when I have my American friends go to Indian weddings, they're usually shocked because they show up like as if it's an American wedding. So if the invite says 7 p.m. at 7:01, they're all there, dressed from head to toe, ready to respect. And then none of the hosts are around because Indian people kind of know that about Indian weddings, that if it says 7, don't show up before 8:39. And this has been something that I've heard from my American friends lately about, like, not only they like a little, I've actually sensed a little being upset, like, and rightfully so, that we gave up our whole evening and showed up, and like there's not even the host is not even there.
I remember once, like years ago, Mom went on this ginormous trip to, what was it, Turks and Caicos or something?
Yeah.
With like a mom group. And you came back so exhausted. Like, I don't think I've ever seen you look so low.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't eat for 5 days in one day just because there's a lot of food there. It's like that. We went on this mom trip and everything was like, what are we doing at 8? What are we doing at 10? What are we doing at 12? And it was like, oh my God. Like after the third day, I was like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, this is too much. And that's the other thing. I've learned this about myself. I don't like hanging out with other people more than like a very limited amount of time. I just don't like it. There's nothing to talk about beyond a point. And actually, your dad used to do this years. Shalab, you remember?
Yeah.
He used to be like 60 minutes and I'm out.
Yeah.
He would go anywhere.
I came up with a sign. Like, you remember the sign? You pass someone and you say, make the sign. That means I recognize you, I notice you, but I don't want to say
peace sign?
Meaning a sign that allows you to pass pass them by on the street on the Upper East Side in New York, and you don't have to communicate. I really like that, because why do you have to stand there for 30 seconds and acknowledge each other and say
I
hi?
feel like people have
This
just gotten more lazy.
I think people don't want to talk. I mean, we're in an age where we text each other and it's like, even me, I don't even pick up voice calls.
I went to Rome. Okay, I went to Rome with 12 other students, right? And I think one thing that we as a family also really don't like is not having control over your time. And when you go on an academic trip, you don't have control over your time, because there's like set activities. Like there's like, we're going to this museum, we're going to this dinner, we're going to this excavation site, and it's hours and hours and blocks of time. And so all the free time that was available, like in the morning for lunch, whatever was available, I left the group. I was the only one that left the group. I didn't go clubbing, I didn't do all the things. And there were all these rumors apparently started about me, about how I hated the group, how I was too good for the group, like I thought I was too good for the group, that that I was like doing some weird stuff in my room. Like there was just like rumors, okay? Because people couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to hang out with the group in Rome. Like why was I only going to those things?
Now, at least when I host things, I tell people, if you can't make it, I completely understand. Just let me know. I don't even need to know the reason. I get it. Like, I get it.
But, and the other thing that I think is important is, in order to build a business, now this is like, I'm taking it one step further. In order to build a business, you need to have a lot of relationships. And these relationships will manifest in ways that you cannot even believe or expect, right? Like I had no idea. Mom just did a whole post about Bridge and this relationship he made with some woman over LinkedIn and all these different opportunities he got from it. And I think that like one thing that mom always did in the beginning of the business was she would just take social meetings just to meet people, right? Like meet different entrepreneurs, business owners, people who owned cake businesses, people who owned whatever, like DJ sets, whatever. And I feel like, Dad, that's one thing that you don't do that mom does, because you value your time so much. And it's important to go out there and meet those people, because it rewards you in ways that you wouldn't expect. So what I'm saying is that it's very important to be on time. It's very important to value your time, but it's also equally important to invest in relationships and know that things could pan out in really interesting ways if you actually invest in a network. So I don't know.
Anyway, this is like, it's an unending continuous conversation about time and how to spend it and how to gain it and what is the value of it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Zoya being late, and how we turned it all into a lesson on time management, and how we do like to spend our time or not. We can't wait to hear what you think about how you spend your time. Is there a family member in your house who is always late and always holding things up, and what is their excuse? And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, where we give each Garg gives another Garg an A grade for the winning moment of the episode. And then we want to know who you give your A grade to. So start thinking now. And who wants to kick off good grades?
I'll give mine to Veer for his very appropriate question of how many minutes before this did you really start, which goes to the heart of time management. Did you plan at all? Did you work backwards from the time? Did you do plan for the unexpected, the unanticipated? So for that reason, I give my A grade to Veer.
I will give my A grade to Mom. Honestly, I'll give it to Mom, and also just the rest of the family, but specifically to Mom, for making me feel sufficiently guilty about my lateness. I do feel because I do feel like I deserve the guilt. I don't want to be the kind of person.
This sounds like that kind of criticism where it's not really a criticism.
I'm telling my A grade, let it be, let it, accept it or don't accept it. It's my A grade. Okay. So
wait, but you're giving me an A grade for making you feel guilty? I'm a little confused.
Because I think you guys sufficiently did your job. Like, I'm really going to come out of this thinking about how I can better myself.
I will give my A grade to Shalab, because I do think that I learned from him how to be content with fewer plans. I was a mess. I used to say yes to everybody for everything. I'll be here and I'll be there and I'll come for some time, and yes, I won't eat and I will eat, and I'll go late and I'll come early. And he has consistently always been like, please just say no. And I've really learned the value of that over the years. And that has helped me preserve my peace and my time, and for that I give it to you.
Except not to me.
No, yeah, to you also, because you consume the most of my time.
Okay, I'm
when
also
I'm
going to
home.
give my A grade to dad
Wow.
because there's two reasons. Firstly, I think that whenever me and him plan something, he is very good at keeping the time.
Yeah.
So for example, whenever we go to our favorite restaurant, which is a barbecue, he always plans, like, he perfectly times it, and he knows that there's a 15-minute grace period. So if there's one hiccup, then it'll be fine if we just go a little bit later. But also for the second reason, which is that I was thinking about a long time ago, before I was able to walk by myself, he would always walk me to school, and he would always acknowledge the fact that I had a set time for when we would leave. So if I was ready at 8, he would let me just chill out until 8:05, because we left at 8:05 every day to school.
But I can't wait to hear what everybody else is doing in their families, especially with respect to a family member who's always holding you up. I want to hear how you deal with it, because it is no, not just you. So sometimes it's bridge.
No, but I want to add that, like, if you are the family member that's holding people up, would love to know how you feel in the comment section too, like what you're doing.
Okay.
If you're thinking
yes,
about
what are
things.
you doing to improve things? Fine, we'll get that into. But thank you so much for tuning in to our episode of Zarna Garg Family Podcast. This has been our episode on time management, lateness, and all things group activities. So excited to be here with you. Please, if you enjoy our episode, share it with your family, like, share, subscribe, and everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.